First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
And hello, this is Fox 12 Now. There is coming up right there a live shot of Mount Hood. That is Ski Bowl, looking very serene right now, but it might not be quite serene here in just a couple of days because, well, not a couple of days, later on, late tonight. That is because there is a blizzard warning in effect for the Cascades and the Gorge. So we have a lot of coverage of this at KPTV.com, and so we've been talking about that, so you can go over there, take a look at that. But right now, we're going to talk about the roads. What is going on there? What's the preparation like? We've got from the Oregon Department of Transportation, Don Hamilton joining us. Don, as always, great to have you here on the show. Appreciate your availability. I would imagine it's a very busy day for you right now with everything going on, or maybe every winter day is. But a lot happening here over the next 24 hours specifically with these blizzard warnings in effect, particularly for, like I said, the Cascades, the Gorge. So from your standpoint, to start off, how's ODOT doing during all this?
Well, we're getting ready for this. It's a busy day, not just on Monday, but we're preparing for a busy week up here. We're expecting a lot of snow on Monday, more snow on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, we're expecting a lot of very high winds coming up, and then we're expecting a lot of cold temperatures. We're really going to get a triple header coming up this week, too. We're expecting for a lot of very, very busy winter weather this week.
So when it comes to, I guess let's talk about the first part of it here, the blizzard warnings and the Gorge, I guess in particular. What is ODOT doing in preparation for that to prepare for these potentially really hazardous roads?
Well, we're really trying to make sure that all of our winter assets are ready to go. And now, first of all, that means a lot of our equipment. We're making sure that our trucks are ready to go. We're making sure that we have all the resources that we need. That's the de-icer and the sand and the salt and the plows, making sure that's all ready to go. We're making sure that our most important resource, which is our crews, we're making sure that they're rested and out there and ready for when these storms start to hit. That's the most important thing that we can do. So we're really watching the weather forecast, making sure that everything is all set and ready to go for when it's time to go.
Do you think that you're going to have enough resources out there to manage this, or is it inevitable that I-84 could get shut down at some point?
Well, yes and yes, I think is both answers here too. Yes, I think we've got the resources ready to go. It's not like we've had to exhaust the resources that we've got so far this year. We haven't had to hit them very hard at all this year. We've got our supplies are in good shape. Your other question, will the Gorge have to be shut down? Will Interstate 84 have to be shut down? It's a little too soon to tell at this point. Yeah, that's a possibility. Anytime that we consider a bad storm coming like this, yeah, that's always a possibility out there in the Gorge. We consider closing Troutdale to Hood River. That's where we start to close. We close in that stretch of the Gorge because we don't want trucks. We don't want anybody running crazy in the Gorge when we get bad wind and we get a bad storm in there. We want them to wait at Hood River. We want them to wait at Troutdale because it's quieter, it's calmer there. There's hotels, there's restaurants, there's a place to get a cup of coffee and to park safely in there too. And we don't want people running around in the Gorge on Interstate 84 when there's a really bad weather going on. So we will close things down at Troutdale and at Hood River so that we're not getting a lot of chaos in the Gorge.
And when it comes to the Cascades, this is the first time since 2012 that we've had an actual blizzard warning go into effect for this. Is there anything specific that you're doing to prepare for that?
In the Gorge, yeah, the same thing. We're trying to make sure that all of our equipment is ready to go. Now, the Gorge can give us a little bit of everything. The Gorge gives us all kinds of different sort of weather situations in there too. So that's why we have to watch very carefully in the Gorge, make sure we know what's coming and make sure we can figure out what's going to happen.
And what about the Cascades part of it, as far as up on the mountain, the warning that's going into effect there, like Highway 26?
That can be a lot more complicated. That's a lot more difficult because that becomes elevation issues and that becomes freezing. Now, we always will look to the snow and ice that we get up there. That's always a real problem up there too. And we're always very aware, when it gets like this, of course, people want to go up to the ski areas and want to go for the winter sports, but we need people to be very, very careful of what the conditions are like on the roads up there too. We're going to get a lot of snow. We're going to get a lot of ice up in there too. Everybody needs to slow down, and be very, very careful in the snow and in the ice up there too. We could see some really, really dangerous weather conditions on the roads up there.
You mentioned that the extended look at just some of the other possibilities that could be happening here over the rest of this week, beyond even just these blizzards over the next couple of days. High winds coming up later, potential of lowering snow elevation, even ice. A lot's up in the air as far as possibilities. Do you think ODOT is going to be prepared for that should subsequent weather patterns come in later this week?
I think we're prepared. I think we've been watching this very, very carefully in the recent days, and we've been watching the weather forecast. We've been making sure that our stores and our supplies are ready to go. We're making sure that our equipment is ready to go. The only thing that we can do in advance of a weather event is de-icer. We can put de-icer on the roads before a storm hits. We obviously can't plow and can't put down sand in advance of a storm until there's something to plow or to sand on the road. But we can put down de-icer except when there's rain coming, because all the rain does is wash the de-icer off the road, and we don't want to do that. But we can put down de-icer on the road in advance of a freezing event. That does help, but we can't put it down if there's going to be rain coming too. But the only thing that we can do, we can't plow, we can't put down sand, we can't put down salt, except only after an event hits. So sometimes I've always thought that winter maintenance is much more art than it is science. So we're really looking at all of these things out there to try to see what we can do. But we're watching this very carefully and getting ready for whatever may come.
With all the resources in place up there on the mountain and at the gorge, I know that you had that extra funding. Do you think that that's helped you to be prepared for this and potentially for if we get more of these coming here through the rest of the winter?
Oh, yes, very much. We were working with the legislative leaders and with Governor Kotek to make sure we had this additional funding. Now that did a couple of things, and probably most important is it allowed us to make sure that we could provide overtime for our crews, which is critical when we get into a winter event like this too. We can't keep going without some overtime for our crews. And that additional funding that the legislative leaders promised us is really making sure that we can take care of anything that's coming up too. It did a couple of other things too. It allowed us to order some additional trucks that we're not going to get until next winter, but it'll let us get going for now. But now we've got the overtime assured that we can get, and our crews are going to be able to help us out when we get into this winter storm.
That's great. Any other recommendations that you have for people out there who may, or at least think they need to travel over the next couple of days over the pass or to the gorge? Any recommendations you'd have for them?
Anybody that's got to go over the Cascades anytime soon should do it on Monday, because we're going to get some bad weather coming up over the next couple of days. And anybody that's traveling, especially in the gorge and in the Cascades coming up soon, check the weather forecast, look out there, go to tripcheck.com, make sure you know what you're doing out there, and look out for each other. There could be some pretty treacherous weather conditions out there.
Well, Don, thank you very much, for joining me here and taking some time out to talk to us about that. It's important information that we're conveying, and it's good to hear that ODOT feels that they're prepared for this, and that, you feel ready, and those crews are getting the overtime, and they're going to be available. Any other thing that you want to let people know about?
Everybody be careful out there. We all need to watch out for each other, and we'll all make sure that we can get home safely.
Perfect. Well, Don, thank you very much. Thanks for spending some time with me and to talk about this. Appreciate all that you're doing. And, hopefully we get through this next couple of days and everything will be fine.
Thanks. Good to be with you.
All right. Thanks, Don. And again, that's Don Hamilton from Oregon Department of Transportation joining us here on Fox 12 Now. So thank you to all of you who are watching us as well. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, on our apps, and of course our website. And we are here for any time there's breaking news between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. This is always a great place to go, even beyond that as well. But our regular newscast will start at 4 p.m. as usual with the 4 p.m. news. And if there's ever anything happening outside of that, we'll be right here covering that as well. So thanks for joining us. I'm Greg Nibbler. This